Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today in this video I am going to discuss Paradise Lost. I'll discuss summary and detailed analysis of book 1 of Paradise Lost. So here we'll see analyze the summary, the themes as well. So let's begin. It's epic poem, already written by John Milton. So we'll analyze book 1. Milton introduced in initially beginning of book 1. He introduces subject matter or purpose of that book is man's first to discuss man's first disobedience, the fall of man, and its sorrowful consequences, and which results from the eating of that fruit of that forbidden tree of knowledge. And this single act will bring death and suffering into this world. And one greater man here refers to Jesus Christ, Son of God, according to Christian faith, who restore men from all this suffering and redeem them. Resurrection in. So will come to restore humanity to purity and paradise. And the themes reflected here are disobedience and revolt, sin and innocence, free will and predestination. We'll discuss. And Milton then invokes a muse, a Holy Spirit, to write this work to accomplish to complete this what he has started. And he has for muse that inspired Moses to write Genesis, the Holy Spirit. And then he associated with muse with the Holy Spirit, and he asked for this divine inspiration that he might exert eternal providence and justify, so that he become able to justify the ways of God to men. And the theme here is hierarchy of God. And then they were deceived into a fault reward by infernal serpent, that is Satan, and God defeated Satan and his rebel angels and threw them out of heaven into hell forever. They suffer forever. And this poem then focuses on Satan as he lies dead in lake of fire in hell, totally dark, dejected. Next to him is Beelzebub. Satan laments their current state as they live as a rulers or a very lofty life in heaven. Now what they have entered in a disgusting place, that is hell, from their previous glorious state as the angels. And he was defeated, yet he doesn't regret on the war or revolt he has done against God. And he is determined to take revenge upon God and building army again. And now he realized that he never defeated his creator, so he is thinking of another tactic or strategy to harm his enemy, that is God. And Satan vows to keep fighting against God. And Beelzebub, another second in command to Satan, saying that God seems to be omnipotent and remains resolved to ever do evil, become our purpose and trying to forward God's work into evil, especially when got out of our evil. And Satan then suggests that they leave the burning lake and find shelter on a distant shore. And then Milton described the terrible size and appearance of Satan, compare it with gigantic Greek figures from Greek mythology, Titan, Leviathan, and spread their wings, fly over the lake to a place of dry. They are pleased that they can do it for themselves, actually not accepting that it's God. Still, they are under the control of God, not by their own strength, so not by this sufferance of supernatural power. And the mind in its own place and itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. Now he is determined, he is happy that he is not ready to reconcile with God in any way. He is happy to be ruler of hell than become a servant of God in heaven, and he declares that it is better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. Beelzebub then suggests that Satan summons his army and they will answer their leader's voice. Satan takes up his terrible armor and then calls for his legions to join him on land and take up the fight again. And the rebels angels obey and pull themselves from the fiery lake despite their pain and shame. Humiliation. They are later given new names by humans, and some will worship them as a false god, as deity, pagan gods, you can call them. And some of name of some these false god pagan deities is given discuss. If you read line by line analysis of this poem, you will come to know. The video is available. Please watch it to make your concepts clear. So, among the false god, Moloch has been discussed. So these fallen angels on earth become as false god. People follow them. Evil spreads everywhere, and God requires the sacrifice. This Moloch become false god who requires sacrifice of children, and then another false god Astorath, and then sea monster god Dagon, and Greek Egyptian animal Egyptian gods are there. Reference ancient Greek gods and Belial lust, who's a lustful god. So this description of gods has been discussed there, and Satan is encouraged by sight of his glorious army, and his army has been compared with some greatest army ever in history, and he addressed his legions and commits himself to continue his fight against God. And he mentions that God has spoken of creating a new world, earth, and devils must escape there and make a new home for themselves. Satan words the rebel angels again drew their flaming swords, and he's a good leader. He motivates them again to rebel against their Lord. And then they fly to a new nearby hill and began to dig in the earth, unearthing the gold. And then Mammon, a vain devil who even in heaven kept his eyes on the ground, greedy, you can say. And with their supernatural powers, the devil construct a massive temple in short amount of time. And this temple, their capital, you can say, a meeting place called Pandemonium. And this temple is large, more than significant than any construction in history, even more grand than pyramids of Egypt. Architecture is devil called Mulciber, who will become a Greek god, Hephaestus, thrown by Zeus from Olympus. And the devils called the temple Pandemonium. The devils can change in size and shape, shrink from giant into dwarfs, and all hundreds of thousands of them enter into Pandemonium, and they sit on golden seats and began their debate, their meeting, how to revenge God. So all this has been discussed in book 1. Hope you understand. The notes are in the description. If your queries, ask me in comments or on my page, link in the description. Thank you for watching.